Hello everyone, this is Yan Huang. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to use the latest version of your SmartMote app to update the firmware for your SmartMote. So the reason why we need to do this is because during the manufacturing process, unfortunately, some of the SmartMote was shipped with a incorrect version of the firmware, and because the version of the firmware was incorrect, it actually was a little bit harder to update the firmware, and so far many of our backers has been experiencing a bunch of issues doing that. Over the course of last week, we spent a lot of time trying to figure out what we can do with this incorrect version of firmware, and we were able to find a better way to do the firmware updates using the app directly. So we're going to demonstrate that today. And the first thing we want to do is to make sure your SmartMote is in the breathing red state. If in any cases that your SmartMote is not, we're going to talk about that later. Next thing we want to do is in the app, let's go ahead, click on Update, Add SmartMote. And it will ask you to join the Wi-Fi network created by the SmartMote. We're going to go ahead, just do that. And in the seconds, we'll see that the network created by the SmartMote now is available. Let's go ahead, connect to it. Now it's connected. Let's switch back to the app, and now that next button is enabled. Okay, let's click on that. So you'll see that your SmartMote flashes green for just a split second. That means your SmartMote has some incorrect state was cleaned up by the app, and we now need to reboot your SmartMote. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and quickly disconnect the power and put it back in, and we're going to click on that. All right, so the phone is now rejoins the network created by the SmartMote, and let's click on the Add SmartMote button again and click on Next. All right, so this time it's going to tell you that it needs a new firmware. So we're going to go ahead, click on Update Firmware, and we'll see that the SmartMote is now turning solid white. It's going to be in this state for about 20 to 30 seconds. If for whatever reason it takes longer than that, takes for example about a minute, which will mean that the SmartMote update was not successful, we may have to do it again. In this case, it actually finished within 30 seconds, which means that the update was successful. We're going to go ahead, click on Done, and we're going to try Add SmartMote once again. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and the app is stuck in a place where it searches for SmartMote. So this can happen, especially on Android phones. The reason why it happens is because due to the restart and everything, the SmartMote network is kind of in an unstable state to the app. The easiest way to fix it is to close your app and restart it. Okay, so let's go ahead to do that and click on Add SmartMote and click on Next. Now, as you can see, the app now asks you for the regular network name and also the password. So the newer version of the app actually is a lot better in terms of telling user whenever they enter the wrong password or wrong SSID, what are potential root causes why your SmartMote could not connect to the internet. So obviously I entered the wrong password here. Let's go ahead, click on Setup. So you see that the SmartMote flashes yellow for a specific second, and now it's trying to connect to the internet, and it couldn't. So in the 3 seconds, it will flash purple for a couple of times, and it will basically reset itself. And it will tell your app that things went wrong, and you probably entered the wrong password. So we're going to go ahead, enter the correct password again, and see what happens next. Now let's try again. Okay, so this time we'll see that the SmartMote will be trying to connect to the internet. It turns purple and green for a second, and then turns back to red, and then will eventually turns back to purple, to green, and the app will tell you that it is connected to the internet and everything is okay. So this is it. This is how you update the firmware and connect your SmartMote to internet.